Hello, everybody. How you doing? Oh my God, I was trying to have a lie-in and I just saw that something was kicking off on the social media space. So I thought I'd better come up here to put everybody's minds at rest and perhaps we can talk about it. Hey everyone, it's the conversation about the first lady's comments as she gave a speech in an event called Celebrating the Mothers of the Nation in Nigeria, where she was recommending that people didn't lose their association with culture. And one of the things that she referenced was the current trend of naked dressing, which has created a storm on social media. And she's now trending on social media because of it. But let's talk about it because I have had people sending me messages because I have declared that I am Nigerian, as though I am the spokesperson for all things Nigeria. But I'm going to do my best to clarify exactly what was said. All right. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel where we discuss all things Harry, Meghan, and their level up journey. If you're new here, I'm Wizzy, and it's great to meet you virtually. How has your weekend gone so far? Let me say hello to the people in the comment section. Hello, Lakiva, Marie, Yalibi. Oh, yeah, Yalibi said you have so many emotions about this. All right. Um, I will invite you on after I have done my little intro so that you can tell me what you think. Burn off your energy so that you're ready to hear what I have to tell you about the situation. Hello, Carlene. Uh, Hello, Novi. Hello, Faith. Hello, Minxie Martin. How you doing? Good to see and hear everyone. If before we continue, if you're new here, please subscribe to this channel. Join our membership if you care. We've got membership on the channel, and it just helps to keep me in business, keeps the lights on. If you don't want to commit to the channel membership, visit uh, visit my description box for the PayPal link so that you can make a donation. Sometimes those donations they do come in handy when I'm having a little bit of an income flux. If you visited my channel before without subscribing, what are you waiting on? The tea is hot on here, and we'll try my best to give as objective a view as possible. And I try to do it without being scared of the pushback. So go on, it's worth the effort because we do try to have open conversations here, which give our minds some mental workouts to do. We're aiming for 4,000 subscribers on this channel. We're almost there. We've got 51 subscribers left to get to 4,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it already. To all those who have been rocking with me from the beginning, the middle, and where we are right now, thank you so much for your unwavering support. So, guys, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, what is the controversy all about? I'll tell you what, the First Lady of Nigeria, made some comments while she was um, just celebrating the current government in Nigeria's first year in office. And she did an organize an event where she was appreciating the mothers of the nation, which led her to talk about which led her to talk about the culture, particularly in terms of how there seems to be a new trend of naked dressing, which is very much against the culture of Nigeria. I did mention something like this before, just before Nigeria, Meghan went to Nigeria, and I had people bully me in the comment section. So I kept quiet and I was listening. But do you know the funny thing? In her speech, she didn't even particularly refer to Meghan in the context of Meghan's dressing. She was saying that one of the reasons Meghan decided to come home to find her roots was because of how good our culture is. She wasn't necessarily saying that Meghan's dressing was naked dressing. But we'll get to that. So let's listen to this her sound bite, okay?
Starts from America. They don't know where they come from. Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa?
That's the short part of what she said. Let's go back to the beginning of the speech, okay?
The message here is we have to salvage our children. You know, we see the way they dress, they keep forgetting that Nigeria, we are beautiful. The moment you can see what they showcase on the stage, I said we are fashionable, we see what is going on. You know, we are not having a Met Gala, and everyone, their nakedness is just everywhere. And the men are well clothed. So we have to do something. Tell them the way it is. We don't accept nakedness in our culture. That is not beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. And they're all beautiful girls. But they should be confident to know they are. They don't want to be like, even they are mimicking and trying to emulate film stars from America. They don't know where they come from. Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa? That is something we have to take home with. We know who we are, and don't lose who you are.
All right, so I'll play that again because I have had someone who has just joined the conversation in the comment section repeating the twisted version of what she said. So let's play that again.
The message here is we have to salvage our children. You know, we see the way they dress, they keep forgetting that Nigeria, we are beautiful. The moment you can see what they showcase on the stage, I said we are fashionable, we see what is going on. You know, we are not having a Met Gala, and everyone, their nakedness is just everywhere. And the men are well clothed. So we have to do something. Tell them the way it is. We don't accept nakedness in our culture. That is not beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. And they're all beautiful girls. But they should be confident to know they are. They don't want to be like, even they are mimicking and trying to emulate film stars from America. They don't know where they come from. Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa? That is something we have to take home with. We know who we are, and don't lose who you are. God bless you.
Okay, so I have seen a lot of the comments in the comment section. I think that the Sussex squad, you're going to have a problem if you insist that nobody can say what they have to say without mentioning anybody's name. Lottie, I noticed that we've been going back and forth. This is the first lady of a country. She did not mention Meghan's name in any negative way. And for you to say that she could make her point without mentioning Meghan's name, it leads to a clash of egos, because then you will put her on the defensive, like, why can't I mention Meghan's name? I am the first lady of my country. If I want to say something, I should be able to say it with freedom. Meghan is not better than me. You see? Whereas you put her on the defensive when she hasn't even said anything wrong. And just because you, as an American, you look back at what she has, remember, there is a different context all the time when you are speaking to people from different cultures. And you need to make room in your mind for the fact that it is very possible that what I heard is not what this person was trying to say. That's one. And then number two, the fact is that she is, it is the derangers who have twisted what she was saying out of context. The same way they twisted what Meghan said when she was taking a bow, and they said she was being disrespectful to the Queen. That's not what Meghan was saying. She was being self deprecating. So, it is not possible for you. It's possible, it's necessary, I think, when we hear things, to slow down and really listen to what was said. Because Harry and Meghan are going to need to form and make relationships with people all over the world. And you cannot help the derangers by attacking everyone just simply because the derangers have twisted what she said out of proportion. T-Boss, she did not say anything about Meghan's dressing. She didn't. She said African culture is beautiful, African culture is rich. That's why Meghan was coming to Nigeria. That's why Meghan was interested in investigating her roots. I have played the soundbite twice. I have listened to it several times. I have not seen any place where she said anything negative about Meghan or Meghan's dressing. So it's all these things you are saying, she could have spoken to her in private. It's not necessary because she didn't even say anything about Meghan or Meghan's dressing. She didn't. She didn't mention Meghan's name in any wrong way. She wasn't trying to chase clout with Meghan's name. She wasn't doing any of that. So don't allow the derangers to cause you to attack someone who has not done anything to Meghan. Meghan was very warmly welcomed by Nigeria, and they continue to do so. Don't allow the derangers to turn you against those people who are supporting Harry and Meghan. Also, there should be room in how you think about things to realize that it is possible that what you think is correct in America is not necessarily correct every place, because Harry and Meghan are learning as they're going along. And I'm going to show you something which I mentioned. I think I mentioned it in a space and everybody attacked me for it. But I'm a grown woman. I have to be able to tell you the truth, because I'm sure Harry and Meghan are monitoring social media, and they also monitor so that they can improve and do things better. Just telling them that they are perfect and everything that they're doing is correct will cause them to make the same kind of mistakes that the royal family have made. Let's not do that. So we've had people on Twitter go after the First Lady's daughter, pulling out her modeling pictures in America, saying, how dare the First Lady talk about the Met Gala and so on when she is talking about African culture. I'm telling you, I am willing to bet everything, including my last breath, that this young lady right here, Habibat, she could not she could not dress like this when was when she is in Nigeria. She just can't. And even though and let's assume because she looks like she's over the age of 18 years old, okay? Which means that there is a limit to how much control her parents will be able to have on her. So let's say, for instance, she came to Nigeria and she dressed like this for any reason. She would only be making herself, her parents, and everybody who is around her uncomfortable because this is not traditional Nigerian dressing. I'll give you an example. So remember how the ladies who welcomed Meghan in Nigeria were dressing. This is typical Nigerian dressing. This is typical Nigerian dressing. Okay? So when she's talking to these ladies and telling them, look, teach your young ladies how to dress because what we are seeing with the naked dressing, because Nigeria also have their own versions of these industry events where you see the boobs out, the bum out. Meanwhile, it's not typical Nigerian dressing. I'm sorry, Anita Appiah. I will not call it clout chasing because she did not say anything wrong about Meghan. She did not. She said that Nigeria's culture is rich and that Meghan was looking for African culture because of how beautiful and rich the culture is. She never talked about Meghan's dressing. And I'm happy for anyone who wants to respectfully disagree with me. That's fine. We're adults and we can respectfully agree to disagree. We are not cattle, we are not sheep. We don't have to be led by what we see in the media. After all, the issue with Harry and Meghan was media manipulation, and that's how we came to be here in the first place. I'm Nigerian, and I listened to what she said, and I could see that it was definitely her words which were taken out of context. Okay? Adrian said, I'm confused. The first lady said, why did Meghan come to Nigeria? I thought Meghan came to Africa. Again, this is part of the confusion. It was a rhetorical question. You need to have listened to what she said first of all. She was first of all talking about how beautiful and rich the culture of Nigeria is. And then she said, why did Meghan come to Africa? Basically, she was referring to the previous sentence being as saying, Meghan came to look for them in Nigeria because of the beautiful and rich culture. She wasn't asking, like, on a standalone question, why did Meghan come to Nigeria? It's obvious why Meghan came to Nigeria. Miss P, I think you need to listen to the speech again and not just react in a knee-jerk reaction kind of way, because she was not referring to Meghan's dressing. She was referring to culture of Nigeria, and she mentioned one part of the culture of Nigeria, which is dressing, and she referred to the youths of Nigeria dressing and said that Nigeria does not appreciate naked dressing. and that the ladies are beautiful and Nigeria's culture is beautiful. That is the reason why, and that is the reason why Meghan came to Nigeria. If you guys insist on turning those who are supporting Harry and Meghan against them, they're going to leave them alone, and it will be the Sussex squad's fault, because you can't twist a person's words against them. That is exactly what that is exactly what the British media have done to Harry and Meghan, that you guys are doing to the supporters of Harry and Meghan. And you just to assume that everything Harry and Meghan do is absolutely perfect is not going to be helpful for Harry and Meghan. They will run into problems. So at this point, you guys need to you guys, yeah, she says, I get what you're saying, but why mention Meghan? Have you listened to the speech? I think you would have a better perspective if you listen to the speech, because she was saying this is not American dressing. Who is the latest American who just came to Nigeria? Meghan. She was saying the culture of Nigeria is beautiful and rich. That's why people come to Nigeria, for the culture. And who just came to Nigeria that you can be easily referenced, where there was a lot of noise about her visit? Meghan. So that is the context in which she was speaking of Meghan. She wasn't criticizing her dressing. Okay? Yeah, but it's Adrian says people are upset because they know it's going to be words twisted by the British media. Even if the first lady meant no harm, she should have clarified, because her words will be twisted. Well, then it is up to the listeners of sound mind to be able to differentiate when someone is attacking Meghan and when they are not. Like, the first lady did not attack Meghan in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not even just saying that because I am Nigerian. I'm just being objective here. As somebody said, as somebody said, the first lady and the president, they are fraudulent, and that is the way generally people in Nigeria see the first lady and the president, that they got into power and position because they stole the election. I am able to say that because I'm being objective. So that's just to let you know that if I see something wrong, I will say it. If she had said something wrong, I would have said, oh, they fall my hands, they let me down. But in this case, she didn't. And it is not right for you people to say, why mention Megan's name? Why can't she mention Megan's name? Just because the negative media are going to twist her words out of context doesn't mean that other people who are not in the situation should not be able to mention Megan's name. Why can't she mention Megan's name? She's not a slave. Marcia said, first, Megan was not naked. She dressed according to the weather and her style. Well, first of all, I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because, first of all, as I have said, in the First Lady's speech, she did not talk about Meghan's dressing. She was referring to the culture, and that being the reason why Meghan came to Nigeria. And in the second place, you said she dressed according to the weather and her style. Actually, when you're coming to Nigeria, if you want to identify with the people in Nigeria, Nigerians don't do naked dressing. You can come in and impose like a military dictator. You can come in and you can impose your own style and culture on the people. But if you are seeking relationship and cooperation, you will take note of the style of the people who you're going to visit. And as a matter of fact, I actually compiled these for you to see. There is a nuance, and I believe that the ladies who are in my audience, or rather, should I say, my audience in general, are intelligent enough to detect nuance. Okay, because this was Meghan's dressing when she first appeared in Nigeria. I saw this and I thought, Nigerians or people who are critical are going to look at this and say, Meghan's dressing was inappropriate. But I saw this and I completely understood it. She was dressing for the heat. She was dressing for the heat. She was dressing because, like in America, this is not inappropriate dressing. It covers all the, should I say, important bits of her body. So in America, this would not be seen as inappropriate dressing. In Nigeria, it will be seen as a little bit inappropriate, but the nuance there, and I'm saying this for who are open minded and who really want to know and who are not just following Harry and Meghan like sheep, the nuance is that because she is visiting for the first time, they would look at her and say, oh, she's visiting for the first time. She doesn't really know any better. But our girl Meghan is so smart that by the third day, she had gotten the memo. And guess what? She was a lot more covered up in what she was wearing. That's just the fact. So, if you want to help Meghan, as fans, as people, and people who want to know about other cultures, it's not enough to just insist that where I come from, this kind of dressing is okay. You have to look at the people. How do they dress? How do they behave? This is a first lady from Gabon. Look at the way she was dressed. That's not to say that they were looking down at Meghan. No, because they recognize that she's coming to Nigeria for the first time. She doesn't know any better. Deborah says, no one is twisting her words. You seem to be going out of my way to defend her. Well, you can you can see it any way you want to see it. Honestly, I'm a grown woman over 50 years old. I have listened to the video several times, and my objective opinion is that she was not criticizing Meghan's dressing. She wouldn't criticize Meghan's dressing because even though she might not have been happy with Meghan's dressing, let's assume she was not happy with Meghan's dressing, she would never come out in public to say so. She would have said something to Meghan in private, not coming out in public to say it, unless you're trying to say that Africans are from the bush and lack the necessary civility and sophistication to be able to manage a small diplomatic incident like appropriateness of dressing. Or unless you want to push all Harry and Meghan's supporters away from them, unless you're trying to say everything Harry and Meghan do is perfect, unless you're trying to say that an African person uh, cannot give guidance to Meghan on the right way to dress in their country. That would be the way in which that would be the way in which you would not be able to help Harry and Meghan. Exactly. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you guys. The first lady of Nigeria is not a slave, and therefore she can mention Meghan's name anyhow she wants to mention Megan's name. The thing of it is that if you listen to what she said and take your emotions out of it and listen to what she did not refer to Megan's dressing at all. You kind of have to separate what the derangers are saying from what the first lady actually said. Mm, well, you just because you say a thing is the way it is does not make it so. I came on here to just explain from a Nigerian perspective because I listened to it and I understood what she said. If you're not able to understand it because you think, okay, you're more superior than all of us, and so it's even though the first lady did not speak negatively against Meghan, and how dare she mention Meghan's name? Then we have a problem because what you're going to you're if you take that stance, what you're doing is that you're placing Meghan above everybody and saying that nobody can speak or mention Meghan's name, even when they're not saying anything negative against Meghan. I don't think the first lady needs to clarify anything because if you listen to the speech that she made, she did not say anything negative against Meghan. She clearly said that Meghan came. She was talking about the richness of Nigerian culture and how people are coming from abroad back to Nigeria to seek out and experience Nigerian culture. And Megan is one of those people who came to Nigeria to seek out her culture. Mm. Colleen says there's a thing called diplomacy. Okay. Anyway, I have come up here and I have said what I had to say about the situation. Uh, it's left to us to be the balance that the media doesn't have, to be able to look at it because uh, let me see. Yeah, these. Let me see. Cynthia says, stop fighting against each other. The haters are all laughing at you all. Well, exactly. They are laughing. They're laughing because they've achieved what they wanted to achieve, which is to get the Sussex squad fighting against the Harry and Meghan, against the Harry and Meghan supporters. Can't keep telling people to listen to what the lady said and make them understand something they didn't hear. Just speaking for myself, appreciate you trying to explain what she actually said. Okay, that's fine. This has become a firestorm. Once again, Meghan is being abused. The unroyals and their racist thugs desperately want to sully their trip to Nigeria. The First Lady simply needs to clarify her statement. Even if she has not said and done anything wrong, have you listened to the statement? I disagree. Um, Lakiva says, please, lady. Oh, thank you for calling me lady. I'm so appreciative of that. I'm not upset with what was said, but it would be nice for her to say something about the UK media speaking bad about my beautiful African country. That would be great. But then that was not what she was there for at the time. She was at an event where she was talking about where they were celebrating the current government's first year in government. And it was at an event put together by the mothers of the nation. It was called Celebrating the Mothers of the Nation. She was there for the women of Nigeria and for the culture of Nigeria. It wasn't about Meghan or the UK media. Miss P said, my emotion is not in this, but she should have done her speech without calling Meghan's name. Okay, we shall agree to disagree. However, I feel like most of my audience is more intelligent than they give themselves credit for, and they have the ability to nuance, uh, to have nuanced discussions. Yep. Thank you for bringing knowledge, understanding, and nuance to the conversation. That thank you very much. I don't agree with you, dear Isabel, but I respect your opinion. Thank you very much. Lakiva says, which comment are you referring to, Lakiva? Sussex Emmanuel, the First Lady should make a clarification statement. I don't see the reason why. She has not said anything wrong. She has no right to mention Meghan's name, for this is diplomatic protocol. That's not correct. She didn't say anything wrong. I still think when it comes back to how well the speech was crafted or not, I understand the key points she was trying to make. I still think they kind of got lost in translation. Don't you think that anything that anybody says now gets lost in translation once Harry and Meghan's name is mentioned? Wow, this is seriously dividing the squaddies, and that's not good. Exactly. And the way things are being dealt with, it makes other people from other countries who are the minorities in the Sussex squad almost afraid to state their opinions, whether despite how correct their opinions may be, because they get attacked. I pray she speaks about the UK media talking about the African culture, calling it poor, full of crime, and the raping of girls. I love Africa. That's not. She has. They have people to do that, and you are putting on her. I think you people look at the First Lady of Nigeria as though she was the wife of a village head somewhere in the Hinter Forest. That's the First Lady of a nation. She was there for an event where she was making a speech. She doesn't need to be the one to come out and do that. Their media on has already come out to talk about the bad reporting that Harry and Meghan received while they were in Nigeria. They have done that already. She doesn't need to be the one to do that because they've got people who have already dealt with that. Changing my initial stand, I don't think First Lady was targeting Princess Meghan dressing. Please, squaddies, don't help the derangers. Sussexes are not gods. They are open to polite criticism. She didn't even criticize Meghan's dressing. She was just simply saying that she was admonishing the young ladies in Nigeria who dress naked to events. And she was simply saying, preserve yourself, preserve your culture. Nigerian culture is beautiful. You are beautiful. This is what foreigners come to Nigeria to come and experience. People like Meghan, for instance, who came to Nigeria to come and experience Nigerian culture. The Rangers took it and they twisted it to mean that she was saying that Meghan was dressing naked. And the Sussex squad is jumping on that. Wheezy, is not that no one should mention Meghan's name, but you already know how the British media are. They're a powerful force. They have already taken this and run with it. Yeah, but okay. So now what you guys are then now saying is that because the British media are going to take up a narrative and twist it, that everybody now should be afraid to talk about Meghan. Why? Why are we not able to come back in force and say, no, you are lying, the same way we do about other things? Megan is not her daughter. Megan is our guest. I'm Nigeria and we're very welcoming. Yes, yes. They welcomed Megan, absolutely. And they didn't talk about her or how she dressed. We're all learning. I don't think Megan will get offended. I noticed she put on more clothes. She's learning the way of her new country. Exactly. Exactly. This was how she dressed the first couple of days. And then she looked around and noticed that nobody was dressing like this. And then on her own, she decided to put on more clothes because there's something to be said for when you walk into a place and everybody is dressed and covered from head to toe, and you are wearing something different that exposes more. The people in the room might not talk to you, it might not be inappropriate, but you yourself might not be comfortable with it. That's not to say it's wrong, it's just that it's the way you're dressed is not the culture of the people. I give Megan kudos for switching up and actually noticing very quickly that she was dressing differently from how the other people were dressing. Trying to force hive mind is what's wrong with some here and will be the downfall of the Sussex squad. Exactly. Anita says Megan has really suffered and continues to suffer. I'm also over 50 and I believe Megan's name in that speech has brought her pain. Okay, that's all right. We agree to disagree. I'm glad you've spoken about this because all I heard was the sound bites and did what the Rangers took it out of context. Now I'm going to listen. That's all I ask. Go have a look and listen to the speech by yourself, and you will see that the first lady was referencing the young ladies. She was admonishing the young ladies in Nigeria, advising them against copying Western culture where people dress like nakedly for the event shows, the Met Gala, the Grammy Awards, and all of this, and reminding them that that kind of dressing is not Nigerian culture, and that Nigerian culture is beautiful and it's rich. And this is why people who come to Nigeria come to experience the Nigerian culture. For instance, Megan, who just came to Nigeria. So how does that equate into her saying that Megan was dressing nakedly? And for the Sussex squad, it's one thing for the Rangers to jump on that and twist it out of context, but it's a different thing altogether for the Sussex squad to listen to that and attack the First Lady for saying things that she has not said. I appreciate your take. I agree with you. There was no malice, no disrespect towards the Sussex. The First Lady does not need to make any additional statement. No, she absolutely does not. But to be fair, if she's making a speech about pride of African culture as First Lady, she could have put a mention into the people that were clearly disparaging it in the British press. That's not what that's not what she was there for. She was doing celebrating the mothers of the nation, and she was referencing fashion as one of the things which, because in culture, the way people talk, when we say culture, what do we mean? We're talking about the way people talk, the way they dress, the way they cook, the way they marry, the way they bring up their children. Culturally, the things that you do amongst a group of people on a repeated basis. So uh as First Lady, she was attending an event which was about celebrating the mothers of the nation. She is not the First Lady of a tribe in a bush. They have a Ministry of Communications. Such a thing would have been handled and has actually been handled by the Ministry of Communication. If you've been on Twitter, you will see the several interviews that they've had admonishing the British press for how they have been speaking about Nigeria in particular. Lydia says, I was very disappointed in the comments. Everyone knows how. I think, Lydia, I think you'll be disappointed in the comments if you haven't listened to the entire thing. If you listen to the entire thing and you still feel that way, then I think you have maybe not really understood, because she in no way, shape, or form talked about Megan's dressing. And I don't believe that you can tell people not to mention Megan just because whether they are talking nicely or kindly about her or referring to her in some way, shape, or form, just because it's Megan. Then you put an unusual and cruel burden on people just because it's Megan. Why? That means you are giving the power to those people and you're saying to them, okay, because you are because we are supporters of Megan, we don't want you to ever mention Megan, whether you're saying anything good about her or you're saying or you're just referring to her in passing. Don't let Megan's name cross your lips. Who are you to say that about the first lady of a country? We're not just talking about any country. We're talking about Nigeria, a Nigeria that has over 270 million people in the country, regardless of whether it's a third world country or not. That's the first lady. That's like saying the first lady of America should come up and address every little thing that has to do with culture. You would not expect that from the first lady of America, would you? No, there is someone in the American government who handles that. And it has been handled when you're talking about culture and how the British media has been denigrating Nigeria in the press since the Sussex's visit to Nigeria. Nigerian government has put people in the media to go and discuss these things and to debunk all the things and allegations that they have been making against Nigeria. So I don't think that that is correct. Uh, hey Isabel, you said you said the first lady can say Megan's name anyhow she wants. So thus Megan has the right to dress however wherever in the world if she wanted to. That kind of thinking is not going to help Harry and Meghan, because they need to form relationships with people, and it is um and I'm saying this not in a negative way, but this is an opportunity for all of us to come to terms with the differences in other people's cultures and respect them. For you to say that about the first lady of Nigeria is totally in your defense of Meghan, you are kind of missing the point, and I'll leave it at that. Yulibi says, I believe the First Lady just needs to clarify what she meant. While she is in it, she needs to call out the British media for twisting words and insulting Nigeria. By doing that, she will switch the narrative. Okay. All right. If you say so. However, I disagree with you. The First Lady has no business going out to chase after every negative narrative. Why? Because they've got a ministry that deals with that. The ministry deals and has been dealing with it since Harry and Meghan's trip to Nigeria. Crystal. Right after this, I hope you keep coming back. You appreciated more. You may be more than you may be feeling right now. Well, you know what? I almost didn't come up to talk about this because I knew it was going to be a difficult conversation. Just judging by how in the past I have made objective comments about Meghan in the past, and particularly from the British Nigerian point of view, and how I got attacked in my comments during the live streams and after the live streams. But I realized that this is a teachable moment, not just from the Sussex squad, but for myself also. I need to get stronger at stating things how I see them. And when it's just like two people who are just meeting each other for the first time. So what I see happening is that Americans are coming to meet Nigerian culture, or should I say Nigerian culture? Yes, Nigerian culture slash African culture for the first time. You're coming to understand what is going on there, and it's getting used to each other, learning to respect each other, knowing how to speak to each other. That is the key here. Expecting that everything should be the American way will land us in trouble, because everything is not the American way. I remember when I was living in a house when I just started working, and I was living in a house like a bed sit where I had one room in like a 5 bedroom house, and there were other tenants in the house. And one day I was speaking to one of the ladies in the house, and from the way she was talking, I realized that she thought that United Kingdom was the only country in the world. And I was like, "What?" I was talking about Nigeria, how I come from Nigeria. She said, "Oh, I've heard about Nigeria. What part of the UK is that?" I was like, "What?" Say that again. She said, "No, no, 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 no. I have some of my colleagues at work. They say that they are from Nigeria, right? Did they say Lagos? What part of the UK is that? Because they say so many good things about Lagos, and I would really love to go there." I said, "La- the United Kingdom is just one out of hundreds of countries that exist in the world. United Kingdom is not the only country. Nigeria is a completely separate country from the United Kingdom." She said, "Really?" This is a grown woman, you know. She said, "Really?" I said, "Yes." And I pulled out um, a map of the world. I said, "This is the United Kingdom. This is Nigeria. This is America." She was completely flabbergasted. This is someone who has been to school. I don't think she went to university, but she was already working. So she was a young adult, like in her early 20s. So, hi, Connie Bama. No, that's all right. That's fine. Um, this is this is these kind of discussions are necessary. That's how peaceful cohabitation is achieved. Sussex Love says it would have been nice if she added her own daughter to that conversation, saying how she has to remind her daughter of the same while she's working in another culture, in a different country. I think you're saying that from the perspective, I kind of understand it because you're coming from a place of love for Meghan. But I think this is also a teachable moment for the Sussex squad because you're piling onto the first lady what doesn't need to be piled on her. W- she might even be embarrassed. Most likely, I don't even need to be with her to know her mindset. Most likely she's embarrassed by her own daughter, and that would be like subtle shades to her own daughter, telling her she needs to do better. And I'm sure she must have been talking and talking to her daughter behind the scenes. Mm, talking and talking to her behind the scenes, but she's not getting. Arlene says it is offensive, implying that Nigerians know who they are and Americans like Meghan don't know where they come from. So she came looking. I don't see how that is offensive. Most most Black Americans who were descendants of people who were taken from Africa don't know where their roots are. And that's what Megan came to Nigeria to investigate. Remember, she only knew where she came from when she did a genealogy test. And now she begins to learn more about her culture. So abusing the first lady because she was simply stating facts is uncalled for. You also abusing me, Wheezy being naive. Okay, that's fine. When something changes, when there is a difference in perspective, I think it's important for us to learn how to speak to each other, even though we don't necessarily agree. I am not being naive. I am actually viewing all this discussion from as someone who can see the Western side. I can also see the Nigerian side because I am based in the UK and I can see both sides. But thank you for your comments. I really appreciate you from participating in the conversation. Someone. mm, Grace, if it will be, with all due respect, stop defending that woman. I am a Nigerian. I almost want to tell you to take your money back, and I'm not being disrespectful. There's something called freedom of speech. I am looking at it from a balanced point of view. I have listened to the speech she made, and she didn't say anything negative about Megan. Just because you have made a donation doesn't mean that I am going to roll back my brain, put my brain on ice, and then go along with what you are telling me to do because you're trying to bully me into following what you are saying. Didi Battle, I wish she acted like an auntie and had this conversation privately. I knew she should have covered more. They did tell her to wear more color. Right. Uh, it's how you support Megan and possibly the success of the Sussex squad. I think in the future is going to depend on how you handle issues because all I see is hysteria right now. because people are attributing to the First Lady things that she did not say. And uh, remember when I talked about Nuance? They said they knew she was an American when she was invited. And therein lies the problem. They knew she was an American, but she's come to claim her African heritage. Therefore, while they give her grace because she has visited for the first time, that doesn't mean that they don't acknowledge that she is more uncovered than it is normal to be covered in Nigeria. You're expecting that because people are supporting Meghan that they should put their brains on ice. That's not going to happen. He said all cultures should be respected, but she's Nigerian now, and they're trying to bring her into their culture. If she wants to be Nigerian, if she wants to be, what is culture? Culture is a way of doing things repeatedly over time. If you want to bring her in, that's why they gave her and Harry the clothes and the beads, and because those are Nigerian outfits, and it's an introduction to say this is how we do. It's not just gift of I want to dress you, oh, this is have this expensive material. It's also an introduction to Nigerian culture. I am here interpreting it for you guys. And I don't think it's necessary to become abusive or push it away because it doesn't line up with what you know. That's exactly the point, because the culture is not what you know. So you're being introduced to it now. And it's up to you to say, okay, I don't want to be part of this anymore. That means you push away your Nigerian culture. That's fine. You weren't forced to be here in the first place, but nobody is pushing it on her in the first place. The First Lady never said anything about how Meghan dressed. Okay? Just because the Rangers are saying it doesn't make it to be true. DC says you're not being honest with what you heard. You're twisting it and covering. Call a spade a spade. She did call Megan's name in that light. She did mention Megan's name twice, even as an actress. That's not true. Uh, um, uh, This discussion is an example of why I call myself a supporter of Harry and Meghan and not a squaddy. Sometimes the squaddies try too hard to control and interpret what other supporters say. Yeah, absolutely. This is what I'm seeing. Um, Grace, I really, I really appreciate your donations. But even when you are disagreeing, and I love the way you're going about it, but I'm sorry, but I have to continue to disagree with you. Well, money cannot buy my agreement. Money cannot buy my agreement, because that's not what she was saying. I have listened to it. Listen, let's play it one more time. Mm, let's play it one more time.
God bless you. The message here is we have to salvage our children. You know, we see the way they dress, they keep forgetting that Nigeria, we are beautiful. The moment you can see what they showcase on the stage, I said we are fashionable, we see what is going on. You know, we are not having a Met Gala, and everyone, their nakedness is just everywhere. And the men are well clothed. So we have to do something. Tell them the way it is. We don't accept nakedness in our culture. That is not beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. And they're all beautiful girls. But they should be confident to know they are. They don't want to be like, even they are mimicking and trying to emulate film stars from America. They don't know where they come from. Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa? That is something we have to take home with. We know who we are, and don't lose who you are. God.
Did you hear that? So, um, uh, mm, Bill says Nigeria. Megan is Nigerian and an American. She should have been more gracious, saying lost Americans are coming to Africa without culture. That's not what she said. I just played what she said. Uh, I believe the palace got to her. Charles said he would do whatever it took to stop the successes. That's not what she said. No. Miss Banks, you need to have more thick skin. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think you're right. I almost wanted to cry when I saw how people were reacting. And I just thought, oh my God, this is terrible. This is a complete misinterpretation. And this is exactly what the Rangers are wanting. And it is up to us to be uh, listen to what she said, be objective about it, and not make unnecessary demands. But how do I communicate that? It means that I'm going to be standing one against many, but it's fine. I have to say it. I have to stand. I have to take a stand. And I will disagree on with you till the end of time. Um, just because I disagree with what I heard. What I heard is not her criticizing Megan. What I heard is her saying that people come to Nigeria to experience the rich Nigerian culture. People like Megan, because she was the last high profile visitor they had. If it had been someone else like Stevie Wonder who went to Ghana or somebody else, that would have been the person she would have referenced. Deborah Copeland says, Money gets her sing. I think she knows you're going to defend this lady to the end. Yes, based on what I have heard, I have not heard her say anything negative against Megan. And I'm not going to say that she has just because someone wants me to agree with them, with or without any money. Uh, but I'm so glad we've been able to have this conversation. I'm so glad that everybody um I'm so glad that everybody is able to be passionate about this point of view, about this particular topic. But I think that there is a danger in being triggered just because the Rangers are reacting to a thing and twisting it out of proportion. That's all. That's where I am coming from with this, because the consequences of that is we reduce the pool of people who would normally want to support Harry and Meghan. But if Harry and Meghan's own supporters are attacking the supporters of Harry and Meghan just because they uh, are being squeezed or being influenced by the derangers' reaction to Harry and Meghan's statement, then those who are supporting Harry and Meghan, who are also personalities in their own right, will begin to back away from them. And we would have done that. Yalibi says, Deborah C, I could say the same about you. She has her opinion, you have yours. Why are you being aggressive about it? You can stand your ground without vilifying another's position. Wheezy Love. Thank you so much for telling for stating it better than I could have done. Thank you, Bailbon, for uh, saying this or reminding me that I need thicker skin because I was just like, no, 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 no. Nigerians do not hate Meghan. I had no plans of coming online today to talk about this. But I knew I needed to because we're in danger of yeah of allowing the derangers to ruin the relationships that Harry and Meghan are going into. It's been taken completely out of context. Okay. Anita Appiah says you claim Meghan wasn't covered up, and what the Rangers are saying is the same. No, you what? Yes, but no. Okay. I love your comments because it gives room for us to discuss the nuance in the situation. So, if I have annoyed you throughout this conversation, please forgive me because I want to explain something to you. Okay. This part you have hit on is exactly the part that causes the problem. Not everything in life is black and white. Yeah. Okay. While I did say that Megan wasn't as covered up as would have been required by Nigerian culture, at the same you're Ghanaian. I haven't been to Ghana myself, but it seems like we are similar. I think in the way we dress, in most of the foods we eat, the most of the things that we and the way we speak and respect our elders, it seems like our cultures are similar, but it's not exactly the same. So the nuance, which is the gray part of this conversation that has been missed, is that while Megan's dressing wasn't exactly appropriate for Nigerian culture, but because Megan was coming in as someone, as an American coming to claim her Nigerian culture, because this was her first time, because of her status in society, for the most part, people they wouldn't even see her dressing as being inappropriate. It's almost like the grace that God gives us when we sin. Yes, we sin, but because we have chosen God as our personal Lord and Savior, He gives us grace as though we never sinned. That is kind of how it would be done for Megan, like she would be given grace. Megan, on her own, though, must have looked around and realized that, oh, actually, the ladies are a bit more covered up than what I am dressing. I understood Megan's dressing. She was dressing for the heat. She heard Nigeria was 30 something degrees and she thought, oh, I'm not going to be getting heat exhaustion or heat stroke. So let me wear my airiest clothes possible. However, that's not necessarily matching with Nigerian cultural dressing. It doesn't matter whether you're wearing something like in English made shirt or trouser, but what will happen is that the expectation is like, let's say this was Megan's 10th trip to Nigeria, for instance, then she was still dressing that way. Someone would tap her on her shoulder and say, Princess, do you think you could wear this, that, or the other? But you know what? They didn't even have to do that. Megan is a very smart girl. By the third day, look at the way she was dressing. Do you think that that was just because she decided to do that? No, she's looked around and she has seen it. She has seen it and she has realized that, oh, actually, ladies are a bit more covered up. Okay, where are my more covered up clothing? That's it. I think it's actually, you're missing the part where Megan intelligently picked up on the divide between what she thought it was and what she actually found it to be. Uh, what Anita says, no Ghanaian will do what the first lady did. We are very cultured. We respect everyone's culture. You're forgetting the part where Megan is Nigerian also. So she was talking, but in any case, she did not even talk about Megan's dressing. Um Nolutandu, I have been to Nigeria 9 times. I have seen women dressed like Megan with bare shoulders, just like Eastern Cape elderly women in South Africa. It depends on where and what it was and who the person is. Um, Let me take you back to the. It's all about learning. It's all about knowing more. You can accept it, you can throw it away. It's all up to you. Well, all I'm just showing you, if you want someone to tell you the truth and not just kiss your butt, then the truth of the matter is this is the way typically a Nigerian person would dress. Robert Collins says, unfortunately, we live in a soundbite era where there is no room for nuance and context. But whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Uh, yeah, Megan intelligently. I'm telling you that no Nigerian person would have said a word to her, but she looked around and she picked up immediately that, oh, actually, um, oh, actually, this is. I need to be a bit more covered up to be comfortable in this environment. Uh, Bill Bond says, Miss Banks, have more thick skin. You are completely right. I listened to the replay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just listen to the first lady and the Nigerian people would never go to Megan and say, oh, you're not properly dressed. But that's not to say that they don't think it. And if you want to be respected the same way the other women are being respected based on how they're dressed, then you look around and you just say, how are the women dressing here? Uh, Sussex Emmanuel says it's a lie, nothing like appropriate for Nigerian culture. In Igbo land, the dancers dress with a bra like wrapper. Okay, that's going to the extreme because you're talking about a performer dancing at an event. That's different from the wife of a first lady. Meghan is Harry's first lady. She is like the wife of a head of state because that is the status that anybody in the British royal family holds wherever they're going to. Whether they have diplomatic passports now because of the breakdown of the relationship or not is a different thing. But the thing of the matter is that Meghan is the wife of a head of state. So, therefore, her dressing would reflect her status as the wife of a head of state. And as it relates to Nigeria, see all these women here, they're all the wives of senior ranking officials of the military. Mm. Gwendolyn Lindsay says, this is all very unfortunate. The purpose of the visit has been lost in conversation. It was a very successful trip, and we shouldn't allow ourselves to be distracted. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Anita says, I'm not missing any part. Megan didn't dress bad. Okay, that's your opinion. We all agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. Uh, Robert says, if you want to see scandalous dress, come to Italy native Santo. I think that was the whole point of the First Lady's speech. She was like, you cannot dress like everybody. In Nigeria, we dress differently. And again, she did not criticize Megan's dressing. She was talking about the culture of Nigeria and how people return home to experience Nigerian culture like Megan. It just happened to be that um, a minute before she said that, she had talked about dressing. And so the derangers took it and twisted it to mean that she was talking about Megan's dressing. And now the Sussex squad are attacking everyone, including the First Lady of Nigeria, who is saying um, that the First Lady did not attack Megan's dressing. Mm, I'm not around listening most of the time. Girl, Joy Armor, not happy with the squad at this time, allowing ourselves to be arguing amongst ourselves and not listening. Well, that is true. That is absolutely true. The first lady, that question when she said, why did Meghan come to Nigeria, is a typical way that Nigerian people speak. It was a rhetorical question. She wasn't really expecting an answer to the question because she has already provided the answer to the question in her previous statement before she asked the question, because she was talking about how people come to Nigeria to experience Nigerian culture. And she's like, so why do you think Megan came to Nigeria? Basically, it was to experience Nigerian culture. It wasn't a standalone question, like she's confused about why Megan came to Nigeria. My take on it is just what you were saying. I listened to it because of what I was hearing and I got what the first lady was saying. Right, exactly. Exactly. Right now, Megan is probably getting a good laugh out of this, but many of you are learning to discuss and think with an open mind. I think it is an opportunity for people from different cultures to come together and have a conversation. And even though Bail Bun has said I need a thicker skin, which I absolutely agree with, I also believe that we all need thicker skins. Immediately something goes off about Megan, we need to stop and really take the time to investigate. I understand Baron had a conversation about this on his platform yesterday, and he was really talked about Megan. There is no reason to reach that conclusion. There was no reason to reach that conclusion. Otherwise, did the Rangers win? If you are visiting this channel for the first time and joining me in this conversation, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, We're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. And support this channel so that we can continue to have open conversations about these things. Nafisa Shabazz says she will learn and do better next time. Are you talking about the first lady? She didn't do anything wrong. She don't need to learn anything. She don't need to do anything better next time. I completely disagree with you on that one. Yalibi says, I listened again. She did not disrespect Meghan. Guys, she did not. Yeah, she didn't. I'm not going to say that she did just because 300 people are saying that she did. Nafisa Shabazz, yes, drugs. She can smoke in America. That means that you're attacking the first lady. Why? What did she do? You're attacking the first lady because she believed that she said something against Meghan. Meanwhile, she didn't do anything to Meghan. And then people have, in the course of this, people have attacked her daughter. You are now attacking her. For what? What did she do? She didn't do anything. Tandi Katundulu. So now, Isabella, when we come to Nigeria, how should we dress up? I actually did a video on my channel. I'll put the link in the chat. 6 essential tips you need to know before your first trip to Nigeria. This was, I think, 2 days before Harry and Meghan's trip to Nigeria. I did say that. Um, let me see if I can find the folder where I let me show you an example of what is comfortable dressing in Nigeria. Before I do that, let me just say I'm talking about Meghan. Oh, yes. She will learn and do better next time. I agree with you. And actually, what I have said, and I have shown you guys, look at the way she dressed the first 2 days, and look at the way she dressed on the third day. She learned quick. Our girl is very smart, very intelligent, very observant. She learned quick. And it also means that she planned for either or, like, okay, if this is appropriate, she made a contingency plan and she picked up quick. Anita Apia says, why are you talking about another content creator? That's why you have one. I'm not sure. You're attacking me. If I've offended you, Anita, please don't be angry with me. I am just trying to have an objective conversation here. I was not talking negatively about another content creator. I only mentioned Baron, and you can go ahead and tell him that I said so because I haven't said anything wrong. I got a message from a couple of people, and that's the reason why I decided to do this video, talking about the first lady and saying they got the information from Baron's platform. And someone even went further and they said that Baron said yesterday that he didn't want to talk about it, but he got cajoled into talking about the situation. And having listened to the video myself, I realized that the conclusion that was reached while that conversation was reached because they hadn't listened to the video fully. And I played the video now during the course of this live stream 3 or 4 times so that we can hear it all. So don't be angry, calm down. If I was near you, I would buy you a drink so that you're not so angry. But honestly, we can agree to disagree. We're grown, we can do this. Thank you so much for participating. Because of you, I am. Uh, and PSTG, if she had come in full Nigerian dress and head wrapped, what would be said now? Okay, my love. First of all, the First Lady did not talk about Meghan's dressing. I was the one who now mentioned it. In just because I feel like the people who were talking about who were connecting Meghan to the conversation that the speech lady, or rather this first lady's speech, connected her to the conversation because there was earlier criticism from the derangers about the way Meghan dressed. And that's why I brought up how Meghan had dressed for the first couple of days on here, just to show that while they might have been correct, but there is space for nuance because life is not black and white. Okay. So the nuance part of the conversation is that while her dressing might not have been appropriate for a habitual visitor to Nigeria, or a resident of Nigeria, Nigerians would give her grace because it's her first time in Nigeria. That's just facts. And for those, mm, that's just facts. Lauren, thank you. The First Lady was only saying if the country was not beautiful in terms of the ladies being beautiful, the culture being beautiful, Meghan would not want to claim her Nigerian heritage. She would not even want to visit. She came because she heard that Nigeria was good, and she discovered she's part Nigerian. Sussex Emmanuel says, but to be honest, as a Nigerian, I apologize on behalf of every. I disagree with you, Sussex Emmanuel. She did not. If you go back and listen to that, we don't need to apologize for things that we did not do just because we want to make friends with people. It leads to a distorted uh, feeling of authenticity. We're not able to be ourselves. I'm Nigerian. I listen to that. What I haven't said on this platform is that I'm actually a legal professional. I'm a solicitor. I have the capacity to think about things objectively and to assess whether there was any damage done. There was no damage done whatsoever. None. Thank you, Lucy, for the donation. Thank you so much. Beatrice James, the First Lady, is a liar. Wow. I have set my troll spray on, so I know you're not a troll, and we are all on different we are all in different stages on the Sussex Squad journey. So um I thank you. I think um this is, as we are following Harry and Meghan, we develop ourselves, and it might be that you might just need to adjust the way you are talking about it because you cannot do that on this platform. And I talked about your comment just to highlight you're going to the extreme. It doesn't call for that. Hmm. Wheezy, I appreciate your point of view, although I don't totally agree. I believe with the information about African culture, we can agree to disagree and still support each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, the presentation of her speech. No, I disagree. I think you need to go back and listen to the speech. Lavelli says the weather was hot. Megan dressed good. Please, Megan need to be herself. Please don't let a speech split us apart. Janet Lavelli, I agree with you, but then again, you don't give room for nuance. Megan went to Nigeria not just to go there, but she went to also claim her Nigerian heritage. Part of claiming your heritage is that you want to know about the culture of your people. How do they dress? How do they eat? How do they refer to each other? How do they marry? How do they train their children? So on and so forth. By ignoring the culture of the people, you push yourself outside of the people that you're saying you're trying to be part of. And the only reason why I highlight it is because you are not accepting or seeing what Megan actually did. You're not even giving her credit for her sensitivity to the situation she found herself in Nigeria. She obviously, this is how she was dressed, what you see on the screen, and then she changed. And then she changed. So um, that means that she by herself observed, looked around and observed. And actually, when the ladies told her to wear color, she took it in good humor. She didn't feel like, oh, they were trying to make her feel anyway. Nobody even said anything to her. She, on her own, picked up on the fact that the environment was more conservative and she decided that she would dress accordingly. And I think with Darlene Payen's comment, I am going to leave it at that. For God's sake, we can disagree with each other. That's perfectly okay. Depending on your individual culture, a person can have different perspectives. Stop doing the derangers work for them. I agree. And I agree. Thank you so much for your comment, Darlene. I appreciate you for your comment. And and but I would still tell all of you, just because I believe that some of you come to this channel because I have a different perspective. And so when you're listening to things, be slow to jump to conclusion before you hear the entire thing. Uh, and give room for the fact that the way you think about a thing uh, is not the entire story, because there is some bit to it that maybe because you didn't know about it, you also haven't taken into consideration. Lucy Law, please read my first message. Okay. Where is it? Your first message. Oh, I'm British Nigerian. The First Lady was not commenting on Meghan's dressing, but she was insinuating Black Americans have lost their ancestry and don't know how to behave, and young Nigerians shouldn't copy them. In fact, you know what? If I could drum for you, that's my best attempt at doing that. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. She was trying while they were celebrating the president's first year in power, she organized the event called Celebrating the Mothers and admonished the young Nigerians not to copy foreign culture because it doesn't represent Nigerian culture. And the Nigerian culture is beautiful. Nigerian culture is, and the ladies are beautiful. And that's what foreigners come to Nigeria to experience and participate in, like Meghan, who just came to Nigeria to experience Nigerian culture. The Rangers twisted that and said she was talking about Meghan's fashion. And now we have the Sussex squad, who is a supporter of Meghan, uh, saying, uh, and a supporter of Meghan, saying that the First Lady was talking against Meghan. In no way, shape, or form. In no way, shape, or form has she criticized Meghan or Meghan's dressing. So I think we need to take a deep breath about it. Lady Rose, black people should stop letting your people down. Let's hold each other's hand and work together. No culture is better than another. Lady Rose, have you listened to the video? Because the first lady did not at all. The first lady did not criticize Meghan at all. And she says, my internet is very slow. I'm uploading a video, but it's going to take longer than expected. Oh no. Well, Lemzi said Tinubu's wife should talk about the killing of youth that the husband did about 4 years ago. That means you're attacking the first lady. Okay. Lucy Law says, sorry to be clear, I don't agree with the First Lady's comments. I find it insulting. Okay, which part? Let me play the video again because I am not seeing what you guys who are vehemently insisting that the First Lady insulted Meghan are seeing. Hold on, just about to play it again.
Message here is we have to salvage our children. You know, we see the way they dress, they keep forgetting that Nigeria, we are beautiful. The moment you can see what they showcase on the stage, I said we are fashionable, we see what is going on. You know, we are not having a Met Gala, and everyone, their nakedness is just everywhere, and the men are well clothed. So we have to do something. Tell them the way it is. We don't accept nakedness in our culture. That is not beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. And they're all beautiful girls. But they should be confident to know they are. They don't want to be like, even they're mimicking and trying to emulate film stars from America. They don't know where they come from. Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa? That is something we have to take home with. We know who we are, and don't lose who you are.
Well, okay. So I think that I have made my own point clear. I've listened to this. This would be about the eighth time now. And I cannot see the place where the first lady has insulted Meghan. So just because the derangers say she insulted Meghan doesn't mean that she did, and I cannot agree with with that narrative just because the Sussex Court has decided that they are going to be panicky and jump on anything that the derangers have are pushing just because somebody mentioned Megan's name. No, no, I can't. I can't agree with that. um, whether she was talking about her own daughter or not. Sussex love is not even really the point. And the point of the matter is that she was speaking generally, and it just so happens that her daughter is one of those who is affected by what she was saying, is how I see it. Marsha says, as with youths across the world, they're going to do as they please. The Western culture of dress is copied globally, but they do know there's things First Lady said about Meghan's and Black Americans was insulting. How? What did she say about Meghan? It's insulting to insinuate that Black Americans have lost their heritage and don't know how to behave. They didn't choose to lose it. How is it insulting if it is true? Sussex love, I think people are misunderstanding when they say they don't know where they come from. That's why she came here. There's nothing negative about that. African Americans were cut off from their ancestry. Exactly. That's the point. That is the point. If we slow down and just allow ourselves to breathe, you might actually see the sense of what you're saying. Maybe you would not say it that way, but I don't see anything that she has said wrong. I don't even make excuses for her at all. She has said what she wanted to say the way she needed to say it, and that is that. She is a first lady, not a slave. So she can say things. And in Nigerian culture, she would be someone of an age where she is able to say something like that, addressing young people. For all intents and purposes, she is older than Meghan. Let's assume she wanted to talk to Meghan about something like that. Let's assume she wanted to talk to someone like that. In Nigerian culture, she is of an age. She is in her 60s, I think, if she's not older than 60 years old as a senator. She is the first lady of the nation. If she wanted to speak to Meghan, who is about 40 years old, a very the wife to someone who would be seen to be the head of state of a country, she is well within her rights to say so. But she wasn't even talking about Meghan or Meghan's dressing. The fact that the derangers were already screaming how naked Meghan was from the jump, the speech pushed their agenda over the cliff. Well, that is the reason why you have people like me to tell you and show you what the nuance is. Rejection of it pushes you out of the conversation, because the fact of the matter is Meghan dressed for heat, but typically the wife of someone who is a head of state would not dress in this manner. And Meghan picked up on it, being the smart, intelligent woman that she is. She picked up on it. I don't think she has anything to. I don't think next time she makes a speech, she should express. I don't think there's anything that she needed to express better. She said what she needed to say. Marsha says her tone seemed very arrogant. Why should she not be able to mention Meghan's name in her speech or refer to Meghan? Why should she not be able to say, like Meghan, who came to Nigeria last week? Why should she not be able to say that? Are you saying that Meghan is more superior to an African first lady? What is arrogant about her speaking to her people and saying, let's preserve our culture? This is not how we are in this culture. Our culture is beautiful, our culture is rich. That's why foreigners come to Nigeria to experience our culture. I mean, just the other day, we had Meghan coming back after just discovering her ancestry, coming to experience Nigerian traditions and culture. Why should she not be able to mention Meghan's name? I don't see what you people see. I don't see why should she what are you saying? She should not be able to mention why? Why should she not be able to mention Megan's name? But it's not in please don't give me money. You can make your comments for free because now I feel bad that I have to disagree with you when you say it's insulting to insinuate that black Americans lost their ancestry and so don't acknowledge how know how to believe. They didn't choose to be slave and thus lose their heritage. So it's not even she didn't even insinuate it. She expressly stated it that and it is the truth. A lot of black Americans have lost their ancestry due to slavery. And because of that, they have lost the culture of how Africans behaved because they didn't were not able to the well Americans black Americans in America, the culture has been watered down over time. The culture in America has been watered down over time. So if you have to say maybe someone who was taken from Ghana as a slave or Nigeria, let me say my own town so that someone won't say that they are offended because I'm referring to their own town. My own town in Benue State, the slaves who were taken from there 100 years ago have lost the culture because they have not been able to reconnect and remember like how they dress and how they talk and what else is culture. uh Protecting her friendship with the monarchy, Meghan will always be the subject, rather she open her mouth or not. See, more people more people attacking the first lady. Okay, well, you know uh, Isabel, in the context of what she knows the British press does and how the venom towards Meghan, she could have been more careful, even though she might not have meant bad. You assume that everybody is following the controversy between Harry, Meghan, and the royal family. She has a country to run along with her husband. She is a senator in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. She don't have time. If she's getting all of this, she's getting the surface of it. She probably empathizes with Harry and Meghan's situation, but she don't have time to be following the British press. She can mention Meghan's name, but just like Meghan has to be careful about what she says, the first lady, no, she doesn't. I disagree. Maybe I'm missing points in the speech, but what was said was offensive to me. No, there wasn't anything offensive. I don't think people have a problem with Meghan's name being mentioned. They keep trying to explain how mentioning her name and the way they heard it is the problem. Well, that is even if that is even if uh, that is yeah, but we have a different point of view. And what you have, it's almost like you're saying she doesn't have the right to mention Megan's name, even if what she said, she didn't say anything wrong. Sash said, "You're being very offensively defensive. Allow others to have a different perspective than yours." The First Lady's speech was, no, I disagree. Disagree. I have listened to the speech. I have played it on this. Um, I have played it on this live stream like 4 times already. I am still looking for the offensive part of the statement. Someone said because she referred to Black Americans losing their ancestry, but it's true. A lot of Black Americans who were taken away 100 years ago have lost touch with African culture, whether we want to accept that or not. Nobody is thinking that they're more superior to you because of it, but saying that they don't have the right to say it or saying that makes it offensive. It boils down to someone then now saying these people, you don't have the right to state the obvious. It's not in African Nigerian culture to be submissive to other people just because you're foreigners or you're from the West. They would never do that. They stand up and they're confident and they're proud of themselves. They have self confidence. Um, the world owes a debt of gratitude for what culture the former enslaved black have created despite losing theirs. Yes, jazz, civil rights, continuous fighting on discrimination, fashion, music, etc. Nobody is disputing that. But that's not to say that the people who were left behind or who have returned back home can't say the culture you are now displaying is not African culture. And you know why I'm still on? Because I realize that this conversation is an important one. And this is a byproduct of what was naturally going to happen because it was a merging, a meeting of cultures because with Meghan going to Nigeria, the supporters and people who think like Meghan followed Meghan to Nigeria. And they met with the people who are in Nigeria, and so we introduce each other. First of all, you start by your name, and then you begin to show each other how you do things. Oh, we do things like this here. We do things like this here. Oh, you're talking like this. You're offending me. But this is how I talk, and this is what I mean when I say that. So it's for everyone to become tolerant of each other and not assuming, oh, you don't have the right to say this or you don't have the right to say that. No, let's approach it from a learning perspective. Nigerians are never going to bow down and be submissive to anybody. Anybody. It was insulting. Her daughter is a model in the US. Yes, but she would never dress like that in Nigeria. And when she was making her speech, she didn't say, I'm talking to everybody except my daughter. Dana says, I agree with you, and we as supporters should not push the narrative, negative agenda of the derangers. No, I disagree with you, Dana. I disagree with you absolutely, because that's not what she said. What she was talking about, I think everyone and anyone has the right to mention Meghan. And when we're listening to it, and the derangers jump on it and turn it into a negative, we need to listen to what was actually said before we begin to feel and blame the person who has mentioned Megan's name for doing something that they have not done. Thank you for your comment, though. Love it. I have listened to the speech in a less sensitive and environment. It would be fine. She was speaking in Nigeria, in her own environment. So, what environment are you talking about? You said in a less sensitive and vile environment, it would be fine. She was speaking in Nigeria, in her own country. But the juxtaposition of words, names, ideas expressed is rife for ambiguous interpretation. No, I don't think so. I believe that anyone with sense listening to that will be able to see that she was not trying to say anything negative about Meghan. Mm, yeah. No, we're not saying she does not have the right to say her opinion, not that she has to craft her speech according to British point. The point is that you can't ignore them pooing all over her country. And yeah, I think you're saying that because you haven't seen the Nigerian talk shows addressing the British media's point of view. Is not what I'm telling you is that it is not for the first lady of the country to come up in defense of the country. The Nigerian talk shows, the Minister of Culture, the Minister of Sports, they have all come on the Nigerian talk shows to address the British media's negative talking points. And at this point, and they have also attacked Nigerian businesses as well. And these people have had to, since the Sussexes visit to Nigeria, have been fighting for their lives, sending out statement after statement because the British media has been attacking them. And so she has been uh, she has got a whole department, a whole ministry which has been addressing the point. The first lady herself doesn't need to do that. And might I remind you that she was not there for that. She was at an event celebrating the government's first year in office. And the second point is that the theme of the event was celebrating women, celebrating the mothers of the nation. And she was talking as a mother would to the children of the nation. That has nothing to do with the British media, which has already been addressed by the ministry. Uh, Lucy, when as a first lady you say Black Americans don't know how to behave, you're insulting a whole culture of people, which is inappropriate. Okay, Lucy Lore, just because you said so doesn't make it so. And I'm not trying to be argumentative. I am really not. I am a lawyer. I know how to speak as well. I heard what the first lady said. And she didn't, when you have stated this in your comment, you have paraphrased. She did not she did not make her or structure her comment in the way you have done right now. She merely said that the youth of Nigeria need to stop emulating the people in America. They're copying Western culture because the Western culture is not Nigerian culture. Anybody who is being objective about this situation knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, thank you for your donation, but I'll continue to say what I am saying. Sussex Emmanuel, um, oh, please stop this defensive work you're doing about the first lady. She was arrogant. No, she was not. No, I disagree with you. She was not. She didn't say anything wrong. Go back and listen to the video, and you will see. I am an ardent supporter of Harry and Meghan. I had just happened to have a different perspective because most of the people that are in my chat, and that's why I'm still on 2 hours on, is that they're coming at it from the American perspective, while I'm talking from the British Nigerian perspective, and I'm trying to provide the nuance that is missing from the entire conversation in a way to provide a bridge for understanding. Because typically, what has happened is what was always going to happen until people get used to each other. Like the Americans, some Americans are meeting Nigerians, hearing them talk and engaging in conversation with Nigerians for the first time. Same also for some Nigerians who are meeting Americans for the first time and engaging in conversations as well. So, how do we approach these conversations? Are we going to look down on each other and say, she should have done this and she should have done that, when that is how this person speaks? The first lady of a country will not come down to the level that you're expecting her to come down to. So sorry. First generation of Cape Verde, West Africa. My mother sounds exactly like First Lady. I was called everything because I dared showed legs and arms until she adopted more American culture like shorts. My take on the clip you played is that she was speaking about the way children are dressing, and the men clued on this. Is she saying that children are being compromised? No. She's talking about the recent trends, like when people, like, you know how you've got the music awards and the film awards in America. So, Nigeria in recent times, since the growth and development of the entertainment industry in Nigeria, they've started organizing bigger, more flamboyant entertainment awards. When people go for these awards, they tend to try to emulate, you know, this naked dressing where they strip out the undergarment of a skirt and you can see the pants and the bras through the dress of the clothing. That is, I think, the extreme that the First Lady is addressing. As a communication professional, I do get your point, but the wider context always affects interpretation. Okay. Perspectives do not exist in a vacuum. Case in point, in which case you need to be, in this case, you need to specify. You need to train your mind on the person who was speaking and exactly what she was saying. What did she say? She said, and I quote, okay, thank you, Lydia. Thank you. Can you replay the clip for those of us who joined later? It's been suggested we need the context of the speech. I'm open to listening. Thank you for that. I'm just about to play it again now. And
the message here is we have to salvage our children. You know, we see the way they dress, they keep forgetting that Nigeria, we are beautiful. The moment you can see what they showcase on the stage, I said we are fashionable, we see what is going on. You know, we are not having a Met Gala, and everyone, their nakedness is just everywhere, and the men are well clothed. So we have to do something. Tell them the way it is. We don't accept nakedness in our culture. That is not beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. And they're all beautiful girls. But they should be confident to know they are. They don't want to be like, even they are mimicking and trying to emulate film stars from America. They don't know where they come from. Why did Meghan come here looking for Africa? That is something we have to take home with. We know who we are, and don't lose who you are. God bless you. The message.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then. I can only replay it over and over again. I have listened to it. I can't see where she is. So I have listened to it now for the ninth time this morning. I can't see where the first lady insulted Megan. And I don't even like Remy Tinubu and her husband because I feel like they stole the election, just the same way we think about other politicians who have done that. But but you guys are missing the point here. She did not talk negatively about Megan. Okay. All right. Um I think the squad is going to have a problem if you can't open your minds to uh, things to understand the subtext of places, places that Meghan and Harry relate with. There is going to be a big divide with you, everyone insisting Harry and Meghan, they've done everything perfectly. And even when they don't talk about Harry and Meghan, they just refer to them in passing. And then you say, why must you talk about Harry and Meghan? Don't talk about them. Because you've talked about them. Now the derangers are taking what you're saying out of context. It's your fault. You shouldn't have talked about them. You put an unusual and cruel burden on people who love Harry and Meghan simply because the derangers exist. I think the people you should be attacking is the derangers and with the truth. And the truth can only be gotten from um I think the truth can only be gotten from education, which is the education that I'm giving to you now. Leslie Ann says she should have left Megan's name out of her mouth. I think you're missing the point. She insulted Megan and her country of birth. Okay. I've been talking for 2 hours now, and it is quite unfortunate that despite the fact that I have tried my best to break down, I have played the video several times. They still have people trying to make personal attacks on me in the comments. Um, I don't think that anybody here would be reasonable to expect people not to be able to mention Megan just simply because the derangers would twist the words. That is an unrealistic expectation that people will have of people who have to have anything to do with Megan. You can come up and say the problem is an expression. There needs to be a better delivery of points. I don't think so. You know, that means that you're taking away people's freedom to express themselves while leaving Harry and Meghan with the freedom to express themselves any which way they want to do. Anyway, uh I don't think that I don't think that I don't think that it is necessary for us to continue to debate back and forth. Uh, um, if you're only listening to someone who is saying things the way you want them to be said, then you are denying yourself the opportunity for a different point of view. Lucy Law says, um, Lucy Law, you said, so sorry, she insinuated that Black Americans don't know how to behave. They don't know where they come from. This is ridiculously inappropriate for a first lady because, P.S., I'm a solicitor. I'm so sorry, Lucy Law, but I continue to disagree with you. And I think where we get to the point, I disagree with you because a lot of Black Americans have lost their ancestry. It is something they say all the time, especially for those who come to Africa to reclaim their ancestry. People like who? Meghan. That's exactly what she was saying. Sussex Love, that lady is highly educated. She understands the English language, is how she said it. How did she say it? How did she say it? I think it is very possible that it is maybe your expectation of how American expression should be in comparison to how Nigerian comparison to be. But in which case it still amounts to the same thing. I am able to see it because I relate with people who are Americans and I'm in UK. I'm also Nigerian. Relate with people who are Nigerians as well. I don't think she has to clarify anything. She don't have disdain for Black Americans. She's simply trying to tell Nigerian people that she's simply trying to tell people that Nigerians should not emulate American culture because Nigerians do not do naked dressing, which is not Nigerian culture. I don't think there's anything wrong if she says that. Connie Barmer, you said Petal is on. Petal will, I'm happy for everyone to leave and go to other places. But I think that all these people that you're talking about, VS Royally, Petal, Facts and Two Cents, they're all giving you American culture. They're already feeding you what you're comfortable with and what you know already. It is my great hope that you will expand your mind to other cultures and other like Nigerian culture and Nigerian way of speaking and Nigerian way of dressing. If you're not able to do that, then that is okay too. The trip was to promote the Invictus and humanitarian work of Archewell, and being 43% Nigerian is a bonus, but it seems it's become the focal point. I think you need to listen to the video. Sash says you're denying others their point of view because I think I'm not denying anybody any point of view if I continue to tell you on my platform that I see it differently. I just see a mother lamenting a wayward daughter. That's another way of seeing it, but I disagree entirely because Remi Tinubu's daughter is not the only one who is dressing nakedly, and she's not even doing the naked dressing that we can see in America. She's talking about people who are dressing naked in Nigeria. That's right. If Meghan's name wasn't mentioned, she still had disdain for Black cultures as if we have no culture. We are not what you see in Hollywood. Well, she was referring to the people in Hollywood. Listen to the entire thing. And Wheezy, yes, there's a lot of subtext. Thank you for your views as a Nigerian. Despite our disagreements here, we can find our culture and still bristle. Against it, we wear our clothes of self expression. Yeah, it's like telling Black Americans we shouldn't be offended. Difference in opinions is one thing, but there's some sounding of ignoring how Black Americans are feeling. Mm, mm. No, Weezy, she's making the point about Nigeria not losing their culture and becoming lost in the West, and her daughter being a participant has to. I'm not denying that because when she made her speech, she didn't say this refers to everyone except my daughter. It was a blanket statement that she made. Rude, only person that she named. There are plenty of Nigerian stars who sometimes dress provocatively. Much better example for Nigerian girls. Rude to make it, but she didn't refer to Meghan's dressing though. She didn't refer to Meghan's dressing. Anyway, as Connie Balmer has done, uh, Petal is on, and who was the other person she talked about? Petal VS Royally is on. Uh, you can go ahead to join those people on their platforms. I hope I have done my best to lay out an objective point of view on this matter. And I hope these points of mine convinced you rather than confused you. I'm so glad that you were able to be here. Thank you, Lucy Lore. Thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you to everyone who contributed. Thank you, even though you disagreed with me. It's all good. It's all fine. It's all love. All right. Thank you very much. To everyone. Just going to go through the comments now before I shove off. Sussex Love says, I think they're referring to the implication of Meghan being an actress, and she talking about the Met Gala and the Western culture. I believe people were making that. Miss Banks, chill out. I think I'm chill. I am just not letting. I am just not agreeing. Sis Love, we appreciate you. We love you. We appreciate you. Wheezy, continued blessings. Thank you. She said Megan came here to find her roots and to know her way of life. Exactly. She didn't say anything that was disparaging. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Do you know what? I really enjoyed this session, even though it was a bit rocky. I'll see you again in my next video. Crystal, Crystal Scott says, enjoyed as always, Wizzy. I think you offend your Black American base. You don't sound like you tried to understand where they were coming from. No, I did. But what I didn't do was to allow them to tell me, because this is the reason why I played the video. Remember that this whole conversation started from the video of the first lady. So I played it several times, and they're trying to say that the first lady said certain things that I listened to the video several times and I couldn't see what they were saying. And that's why I played it so that we could all listen to it. If you're offended because you cannot stand a different point of view, that's not my problem. It really isn't. We are not sheep. We are not cattle. We are due, and we should have our viewpoints challenged. This is something that was always going to happen because, as I said earlier, As I said earlier, Meghan's fans followed her to Nigeria, and the Nigerian people also have met up with the American people. So, what you're seeing is a discussion around the cultures that surround Nigeria. And where it went left is because people say, oh, well, she shouldn't have mentioned Meghan, or she should come out. And I don't know who you think you're talking to. You're talking to the first lady of a country. All right, guys. Bye. Thank you, Proverbs. Now, let me. I was shocked by the picture of the First Lady's own daughter, very naked and portraying very low self esteem. She should admonish her own daughter. I agree. You're still attacking the First Lady. I don't think that there is any reason for you to attack the First Lady because she didn't say anything wrong at all. She didn't criticize Meghan's dressing. She was simply admonishing the young ladies of Nigeria to not emulate the naked dressing of the West. There is no way for her to say, addressing the general public, and then also mention her daughter's name in the speech. Leslie Ann says, so you're saying that the lady didn't offend her, so you're offering the trolls of what they're saying about what the first lady. No, I think you missed the nuance in what I was saying. What I said is that the first lady's speech had nothing to do with what Meghan was wearing. I respect her, your first lady. However, she's not beyond reproach. Nobody said that she was. Marilyn King, she's the first lady. Words matter. Yeah, everybody's words matter. Everybody's words matter, no doubt about it. But if you're talking about whether her words were somehow insulting of Meghan, no, I disagree. We weren't. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Love you. Kiss, kiss. Bye.